Exactly. So good morning, John.
Good morning, and how are you on this glorious day?
I know it's an early morning start for us today.
I know. Where's Vickers?
I know. AWOL. We'll just start calling him AWOL.
So he's on his holidays. This is this is actually leading on to a really good question. What happens when you go on holiday to your business?
Well, that is a great question.
So, a case of, this is one of the reasons why when you're starting business, you are the business, you are growing your business, you're trying to be as successful as you possibly can, but you also need to have in your mind, how do I grow this business so it doesn't rely on me? And that's when you find that you can go on holiday and you've got people, your team running your business for you. I would probably say at the initial stages, you don't think about that. You just think about getting money in and surviving. But it's one of the things we were chatting about earlier on today. What do you want from your business? And I know there may be two questions in that. What do you want from your business? And a lot of people they might want fame, they might want fortune, they might want a good lifestyle. But it all comes from planning. And planning to fail, or failing to plan, is planning to fail.
Correct.
As Vickers, sorry Vickers, I've stole that one from you there, and you stole it from somebody else.
That's how it
But
works.
it's good though, that's how it works. Remember the good stuff. So, you go on holiday. Does your business run, or does it not run? And would you like it to run without you? So that would be the question. So, I mean, where did you get to in your career in business, entrepreneurship, where you could actually do that? Because I know you went on holiday. You've been away to Australia for like months.
It is, ultimately, it's down to getting staff in for most businesses. There is nowadays a lot of stuff you can do remotely now. And that's something we've integrated into other businesses that, it doesn't matter where I am, I can still access the critical stuff that I need to access. So you can work from anywhere with that type of stuff. But it depends on your business itself and the model. You're going to need staff. To get staff in that is a roadmap as to when that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at cash flow, there's definite musts and benefits to getting your cash flow projections, so you can drop in at a point in a year, say, where you're maybe looking to start taking on staff. What does that look like financially going forward? What does that look like with the cash flow, in the sense of, does it put you under that you're in a negative for a period before you start making money again? And I know projections, the longer you're in business, the more accurate you can be with these projections, but you need to just definitely have a look at it and best guess if you've not got that kind of data behind you first. Because it's great just taking on staff. All of a sudden, there's NIC to pay, your tax is up, you've got pension contributions, there's a bit of an animal getting created every time you take on another member. So all of that has to be looked at, but that's what gets you to the point where you can start to step back. And it's not always easy, especially when you've been in the business for so long, and you know everything and how everything runs. And, and that's the thing, is it's now, you need to systemize. I know we've spoken about this before, but you have to systemize everything that you do. And the earlier you start that process, the better.
So you see, when you say systemizing, explain that, dumb it down.
So you're going to take a phone call or an email comes in. So there's your starting point. As just say two. There might be drop-ins that come in if you've got an office. But if you take a phone call or an email comes in, what do you do with that then? What's the next step? And that's the start of a process for you. So, you're going to either reply to that email, make a phone call back. Is there a question sheet that you've got that you want answered with some details, whoever's coming in, if it's a phone call? And then, so if you are starting, and I'm starting you, then this is what I'm going to sit and go through with you. Like, if a phone call comes in, this is what you need to do. And it's to make it easy, in the sense of, so on the letting side, we're obviously trying to collate information for tenants coming in, making sure that they're right fit and there's affordability and all that criteria. So if you're a new start, we've already got a sheet, and it's digital and paper, whatever you're comfortable doing. And you don't need to worry so much about what you're going to say to that person. And the longer you're in that, the more natural it becomes. But, you can just literally step by step take that phone call and collate that detail. And then what do? You putting something in the diary, whatever it is that the business is, there'll be steps to the next stages that needs to happen to get that business through the door. And then obviously once the business is in, you've got to then produce the goods, whatever it is that you're doing. So what's the process for that? And then at the end, what's the process? How do you finish a job? Or, it could just be that you're posting stuff out, but making sure at the back end, the customer's happy, and just closing the whole thing off nice and neatly. Get all that down as early as you can, because the bigger it gets, the more complicated it gets. And it's harder to do at that stage. So when you're getting stuff in then, because if you're not setting that up, you're really setting up your new staff member to fail. Because if they don't know what they're doing, everything will start to break down there, and you'll really be reliant on the individual taking that position and making it their own, and just, being very proactive and trying to learn what's supposed to happen there.
So is this basically back down to simplifying it? Because Vicky says, well, you both are very good at simplifying it, processes and procedures, but that's the meaning behind processes and procedures. Because there are a lot of buzzwords I find, and there's a lot of cheesy buzzwords that just makes me want to vomit in my mouth. But it's not until you're in that mindset and you actually, I say it all the time, down the rabbit hole with it, you realise what these actually mean. So that's what that means, processes and procedures.
And that becomes your working manual. So again, as the growth of the business goes, this will be forever changing. But it's pretty critical to the growth of a business.
So writing down what you do on a daily basis, a weekly basis, the processes, writing it all down, strategize and find the best way of working, what works for you. Because when you start in business, whatever you are doing, write down what actually works. And then that's going to be start of your working manual for when you're employing someone in. Say, stick to that criteria because I've tried and tested it. Act a particular way. It's like when you go into, I think Vic has said this in previous episodes when he was into, did I say the name? Levi's shop, it was. And I remember Jack Jones, the clothing manufacturer, they act in a certain way about greeting a client coming in. And it's all the client journey. And they have to act in a particular way in order to get the sale or to make you feel a good way. And he expressed it when he went into a few of the stores, how they just completely avoided that and how it made him feel. And he went, no, I'm not spending money here. But some people do it very, very well. You take in, not that I've been in, but I know in high-end hotels like the Savoy, from the cleaner to the janitor to the reception to the bellboy, they all say good morning, good afternoon, they greet you, it's always with smiles. And I'm going to discuss this. I just came back from holiday, my wife and I and the kids, and the level of service was very poor. So we gave them constructive criticism from business owners to the managers and explaining to them. But they were so thankful to receive that information, which was great because you do concern yourself with how they're going to respond. They then asked a few questions and I actually started writing down on a bit of paper on my last day. You need to start scoring the managers because you have a lot of managers in here. And unfortunately, some of the managers shouldn't be managers. So they need to be accountable. So why don't you get the people that they're managing to score the managers anonymously? Put it in the box every week. They have to put their feedback. That then will then let the managers be aware of where their feelings are. And it's up to them how they respond to it.
Well, that's the way. I mean, once you've got these in place, like the culture that you're creating is part of all this as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where that all goes. But I think when you've got processes and systems in place, then just as you're saying, everybody knows what they're supposed to do. So you've got your cleaners and whatever else, these people are all educated on how that company expects them to behave and work, and the different processes that are in place to make sure it's most optimal. And when they do start to fail, it is essential that you get the feedback.
Mm.
And when a complaint happens, that is your opportunity to fix a bit of that process, because you might have just missed something there. And, if nobody tells you, then it's going to be missing until somebody does tell you. And then that is your opportunity there. So you should be thanking them and saying that, that gives me that opportunity to try and fix that. Mm-hmm. So that, going forward, everybody's aware that this bit has to happen. to stop that problem reoccurring.
Yeah, definitely. So would you say to any business starting, we know when you start because we've been there before, you are just trying to get the work in, you're trying to get the money in, but if you can spend enough time at night as well, because we know it's 24/7 when you're working for yourself, spend the time, allocate maybe 2 hours planning out what's working, writing down what's working, what's failing, because you need to know these things. Put it down on a bit of paper, look at it, and strategize and spend a month, 2 months working on it and really writing it down. Because once you then look at growing your business to bring on another member on the team, you need to give them clear direction, a pathway, but also give them an opportunity to change it if they think they can do it a bit better.
Constantly change. It will constantly. And then also when you get staff in, that's an opportunity for some feedback as well.
Yeah.
Because, although you've been everything and you've been doing it well enough that you've got to a stage you're taking on staff, having someone else looking at things from a different angle, giving some good ideas and making them part of that process, they'll invest in that as well because it's become part of their idea as to what you're just now implementing.
The other thing is you've got personality traits. You've got different personalities and some work better in certain sectors or parts of the business.
That's why, you've got different ways of doing and saying things that will resonate more with somebody than somebody else. So just having that bit more adaptability on how you address that. But I think when you're just starting off, it's a bit different on the tools, I think, from other business models. But when you're on the tools, you can, like I used to just diarise everything. Everything was diarised. So I wasn't...
What do you mean, in the diary?
So my jobs were booked in.
Yeah.
And that was in, I didn't take any other work on while I had that job on. So I wasn't running all over the place. So all I used to do is I would have my holidays and I would then have the work that I was going to start would be started in my diary for when I come back to holidays, and I just completely blank time out. And I think it's pretty easy, I suppose, on the tools, but other businesses that maybe don't have that opportunity where you could just blank the diary out, you just need to more, I think, communicate with your clients. Everybody deserves a holiday.
Of course, aye.
In your auto responses and the emails and just social medias and stuff, and just, I'm going on a break, I'm on a holiday, and you will need it and deserve it if you're in the startup phase. And there's nothing worse when you're going away if you're never off your phone, you're worrying about everything back that's all happening, and literally, honestly, unless somebody does actually die, nobody's going to die. So you can just really take that time, get your head space, and you will come back fitter and stronger and ready to go again. But yeah,
I understand your analogy. When you're working for yourself, you just block out the time, or you shut your shop down for a week. It's not great to have to shut, if you've got a retail shop or a newsagents, whatever it may be, but you have to find the strength in that trust to let someone take over it for that 5 days or 6 days off. You could even just start doing it for a long weekend, a Friday to a Monday, even though that's when you're doing all your banking, or there's always something in the way. I totally understand that, and I've been there, but you have to push yourself constantly. And if you're not pushing yourself, don't expect any change. And you don't want to look back in a year's time and 2 years' time and have the regret of not doing it. Push yourself, and trust me, you will fall. You'll make a mockery of yourself. You'll embarrass yourself. It'll be horrible. But you have to get back up and keep pushing forward and learning from the mistakes. I've just taken that. That's pretty much, since maybe the last 2 years, I've been able to take a holiday and have the team running the business. Don't get me wrong, you come back to stuff, but you're always going to come back to stuff. And I know my team will do well. They'll do well. And I know there'll be a couple of little things, but it's like, as you said, it's not massive. Nobody's going to die. Or you hope nobody dies. But you just have to go for it. And you will find that you lose money sometimes. You'll make money. And it is a bit of a circle. It's a circle effect. It goes round, it comes round. It is what it is. But until you're in your business for quite a period of time and learning about business. It's about learning. I can't stress that enough. Learn from better people that have been in business longer than you, and try and educate yourself on it. And you will grow and you will get better along the way. But, I'm maybe adding more to this conversation, but surround yourself with the right people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I would say also technology.
Technology,
digital banking's that's a game changer when it happened. You could literally do your banking anywhere. But there is systems, like we use a lot of systems, and they do, if you'd said to me when I started up, I'd be spending over £1,000 on a software a month. I'd be like telling you to ram it. But that's as way we are. But these things, you literally can do them anywhere in the world and use them. So it just takes that extra stress and pressure off you going away. But another thing I would go into as well with this is the micromanaging side, which is a hard bit for a lot of people to get over. You've been doing everything at this stage. Now suddenly you've got somebody in there that's allowing you to step back, and you then don't take that opportunity because you're scared that there's not going to be things done the way that you've done them. But this is where the process is. If you can teach them how you do it, you should have the confidence to leave them. And they will make mistakes. You've got to let them make mistakes because that's how they'll learn. Different if it's a constant mistake getting made, then.
Yeah.
But, there's mistakes. That's the only way you do learn properly. But once you can step back from that, and now you've got staff in, that lets you grow your business because now you're working more on your business than in it.
Yeah.
And that's really the goal you want to set yourself, is to get to that stage.
So let's put this down to time then, timescales. You've started your business. First 3 months, you're getting by. The first 6, even the first year, you're getting by. You're getting your vehicles, you're getting your branding, you're getting your shop premises, you're understanding rates and rents, all that. How long, do you set goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals, yearly goals?
We're like it adapts, but I do a yearly one.
Right.
So we do like a yearly, it's a 3-year projection. And once that's done, you've got that, and every year you just added another year, but you've now got another year of data that you can adjust and make it more realistic. And then you're just timescale. It depends on what business you've got, really. If you've got an e-commerce business, it suddenly just blows up instantly.
Yeah.
And you've got product there that you're selling, and you just need people to help you with that kind of thing. But if you're starting off on your own to try and start to grow a business, it takes time. But this is where the planning comes in. So if you say, I'm going to tick along until I get enough money to get a staff member, that could take you 7 years. Whereas if you say, I want a staff member in the end of the first year, then you're driving towards that goal. What do you need to have that? What do you need to have a car on the road? What do the figures look like? What do you need to achieve there? And that's the planning. So set them up, and just try and hit these targets. You might not get there. You might be 4 months over, say, whatever, but that's
you're shooting for that goal, that target.
And I know, like, you can easily go, well, let's get a couple of cars on the road, and it's like, Jesus, that's like £800 a month. But it's not for now. It's for down the line here when we'll have that money to spend that on a car and and then obviously the branding helps you get the business in, whatever it is. So planning's critical with it all.
We all start at the beginning. We all, obviously, but we've all been there. We've all been there, and it's hard.
Aye.
It's a hard slog. So let's put the reality to this, because I'm well aware when we're trying to speak to everybody, we're in a more comfortable position, but you're rewinding the clock back to when you really started.
You've worked hard to get there, that's the thing.
And most successful people have worked extremely hard. Yeah. They've worked at hours where nobody else is going to work them. And don't be embarrassed when you do make it. Don't be embarrassed by that hard work when everybody's pointing the finger at you.
I'm going, sorry for you.
Well, exactly. Everybody likes to, it's a bit envious, it's a bit of envy, a bit of jealousy, but it's hard work that pays off. The hours of working after night, the blood, sweat, and tears. I've had many tears. Relationships that break down, it go well. New ones will start as well, because it's just a hamster wheel. It always works its way around. But the one thing that I got told many years ago, well, this was simplifying it, he says, outwork everyone. And he said it different. He actually says, head down, arse up. Just work through it all, because you're going to get stones, you're going to get everything thrown at you. Just keep driving through it. And I'm going to say it, fuck everyone. If you've got a target, you've got a goal, go for it. You're doing it, ultimately, you're doing it for yourself and your family, your lifestyle, what you're wanting. But it's the blood, sweat and tears. Just outwork everyone.
Here's a question for you. What do you do with that vomit in your mouth?
When no one's looking, spit it out quickly.
No, swallow it.
Unless you're still hungry. But last night was an Indian, eh?
What if it's just the bile?
I've eaten worse.
Aye.
We decided to do this podcast, and I've heard a lot of fantastic podcasts, and I've heard a lot of, I say this a lot, but the cheesiness that comes out of it. But it all comes from a good place when you're adverse to listen to it. Mm-hmm. You know, when you're searching on YouTube and all these places, the platforms, you're searching, whether it be for healthy workouts or whatever it may be, you're searching for it. And it's just the stuff that resonates with you. And the stuff that resonates with me is honesty and that authentic speech.
I'll always win.
You know, we've listened to ourselves back and cringed, or I have, how fast I talk, you know, a bit slavery, a bit of gibberish, but it's authentic. But if you can, hopefully I can capture some sentences in there that are powerful, that'll help you.
All you need is like a nugget. Listen, a nugget. Stuff. You know, just saying Johnny's a nugget. Well, we've got one, so we're always going to have a nugget here.
Yeah.
But I listen and read a lot of stuff. And all I'm looking for is just that little bit of one thing and it depends where you are in your journey as well, because certain things don't resonate. As I was saying earlier, don't resonate this year, but now I'm here. That makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. So even if you're just getting one thing out of this, that's what we're after.
That's exactly it. So if we wrap this one up, then you need to plan where you're going forward.
And you definitely need to plan. You need to, I know I've spoken about it before, but processes, procedures, get them written down. You know, there's things like Miro, however you say it, it has the flow charts. It's free, you get free, I think it's 3 boards you get there, you know, the stuff very quickly you can put a flow chart together of how something works. And it's very easy to read, understandable then for anybody looking at that. And
if you're me, a pen and paper.
Whatever works at the end of the day. And as I say, it'll work for you. When somebody else comes in, it might not work for them, but what will work for them, and let's go down that road. And then
ideas are key.
Yeah.
Sorry,
you've just got to. You really need to plan for your holidays, but you have to take your holidays. Take your holidays.
Yeah.
You know, and it's very easy. Everything when you start your own business at the startup stage, especially, everything comes before you. You just get into that habit that everything needs to be fed before you, and it's, you know, it's not the way. Certain times and things do have to be that way, but you need time yourself. You need to recover. You just keep going, you'll burn out. Mm-hmm. So you need that recovery time. You need time with the family. You know, we're all guilty of not spending that time that we should with people that we should be spending time with. But that's part of the education and learning as well.
Yeah.
But aye.
Excellent.
And then the other thing that we need to speak is we need a startup business to come in.
Yes.
So if you are listening and you are thinking of starting up, then we want to hear from you. We want to see how you're doing. We want to get on and be part of the journey, help. We're trying to build this whole community. So let's see how you're getting on. What stage are you at? What can we help you with? Mm-hmm. What can anybody else listening that might be able to help you with? Connections in business are an absolute, the better connections you can get in your business, then the more help you're going to get, because people will help. So let's hear from you. Definitely. Get in touch. The Facebook page is live now as well.
Yeah,
so,
we got there.
Just get a little search and like on the business page, Business Babble page, sorry. Until the next one.
Aye, but we have to finish on our quote.
Yes.
Do you remember it?
I try my best. I think I'd like to say I invented it, but I didn't. But this is your world. This is your world. Shape it, or someone else will.
Boom.